Hey everyone, this is Pete, and welcome back to Short Play, a series of quick tours of games I like on a variety of platforms, new and old. Today we're looking at a game called Blake Stone, Aliens of Gold. This was a 1993 release by Apogee that is largely forgotten today, mainly due to the fact that it came out a week before Doom, which was unfortunate, particularly considering that Blake Stone Aliens of Gold was a first-person shooter with considerably inferior technology to Doom. If Doom hadn't come out then, this would have probably been a bigger deal, because this was an advancement of the Wolfenstein 3D engine that incorporated things like textured floors and ceilings, more complicated interactivity throughout the levels. You could talk to people, you could interact with machines and pull switches and that sort of thing. But sadly, yeah, it didn't do all that well because of Doom primarily. But it's a cool game that I've always liked, and I remember back at the original time it was released, I actually remember enjoying this a bit more than Doom. Not sure if I still feel the same way about that now, but I do certainly still like this game a great deal. So narratively, it follows the tropes of a lot of early Apogee games, in which it sends a lone hero against a mad scientist type character. So this was very much the mold for a lot of Apogee games like Duke Nukem and Biomenace and that sort of thing. All had this formula of a lone hero, usually inspired by some sort of movie hero, James Bond in this case, going up against a mad scientist who was threatening the world with some sort of biological or robotic or otherworldly menace. So, as I say, the game's main innovations were its textured floors and ceilings, which was an enhancement of the original Wolfenstein 3D engine, and it also had an automap facility, which was a deliberate attempt to try and address one of the main criticisms of the original Wolfenstein 3D, in that it was very difficult to find your way around. It was very easy to get lost. So, like I say, I like this game a whole lot, so I'm looking forward to revisiting it today. Let's go play Blake Stone, Aliens of Gold.
Okay, here we are with Blake Stone, Aliens of Gold from Apogee, the height of gaming excitement. This game is not shareware, please do not distribute it. So, yeah, this is the registered version, the full version, if you will, of Blake Stone, Aliens of Gold, which was originally released as shareware. So, if you're not super familiar with the concept of shareware, because it's not anywhere near as widespread as it used to be, what would happen with shareware is you would be able to download a free version of the game, and that would give you like the first episode, so it would give you like a fairly substantial chunk of game. In this case you got like 10 or 11 levels worth, and that was supposed to be enough to give you a feel for the game and how it worked and all that sort of thing. And then if you liked it, you stumped up the cash, sent off for the registered version, and you'd get some discs through the post a little bit later, perhaps with a few extra goodies like a manual and that sort of thing as well. So this is Blake Stone Aliens of Gold, which has been ported and updated to run on DOSBox on modern machines. So you can get that version from GOG.com. If 3D Realms still do their anthology pack that they released a while back, you can get it on there as well. I don't know if that's still available, but it certainly was in that pack. That's the version we're playing here. I think it might be on Steam as well. It's certainly easily accessible these days, despite being an old and not terribly well-known game. So the story behind this game, well, let's jump in and find out. I'm just going to play as skilled agent because I'm not very good at this game, and it's also quite difficult, especially compared to a lot of modern first-person shooters. So here we are, Mission 1 briefing. Agent Stone, reports confirm that Goldfire is aware of your arrival. My senses indicate movement towards the 9th floor shuttle bay, so I can only extrapolate from past behaviour to determine Goldfire's current intent. Assessment. Dr. Goldfire plans to flee the Institute. He realises you are a threat to his plan and perceives an increased measure of personal safety on the floating fortress. Control of greater destructive capabilities is a certainty as well. Objective. Proceed to floor 9, kill the spider-mutant guardian alien of the Star Institute, and take the shuttle to the next link in Goldfire's operation, the floating fortress. You will receive additional instructions when you arrive at the fortress complex. Informant biotechs have been located throughout the Star Institute. Information, ammo, and tokens may be obtained from these individuals. If I may offer an opinion, think before you shoot. Yes, sir. Good luck, sir. Alright, so basically Dr. Goldfire is doing bad things. He's doing genetic experiments and all that sort of thing. And we, as Blake Stone, who is definitely not James Bond in the future, have been sent in to go and deal with things. Well, this is a good start, isn't it? There we go. Anyway. So, as I say, this is based on the Wolfenstein 3D engine, and if you're familiar with that engine, you'll know that it is entirely constructed of cubes, basically. Every single one... Oh, there. Hello. Every one of those walls is like a textured cube. And you'll see that they tend to be the same texture on every side. Maybe one is slightly darker than the others. But yeah, levels are created in this by placing down blocks. And those make cubes in the world. So that gives the game a fairly sort of flat appearance in comparison to stuff like Doom, which introduced variable heights, as well as walls that can be designed by drawing polygons rather than just placing cubes down. So yeah, that's one of the reasons that Doom succeeded where this game failed. It's because when Doom came out, that immediately dated this game and made it look like old hat, basically. But these days, when Doom itself looks like old hat as well, although impressive old hat that is widely beloved by many people, including myself, I might add, yeah, we can appreciate what this game is doing on its own terms rather than comparing it to its contemporaries. Anyway, I'm running around this level, round in circles at the minute. You'll see I've been killing a bunch of people. These scientist guys, if you walk up to them and press the spacebar, you can talk to them. If they are friendly, they will give you some advice and perhaps some goodies, such as food tokens and ammunition. If they are bad, they will start shooting at you. So some of the scientists are bad. That's sort of the big twist in this one. You have some friendly characters, but there are some enemy characters who look like the friendly characters. So you have to sort of quickly determine who's going to try and kill you and who's going to help you. And then there's things like this chappie over here who is obviously bad because he's a big slobbering mutant who is trying to eat you. And the blue sparkly thing down here, which is a glowing electro ball, which is going to try and electrocute you to death. Alright, lots of ammunition here. Very nice. You'll also notice that I'm not doing a lot of strafing in this. Reason for that is this game was invented before mouse look was a thing. And thus was also pre the WSAD control scheme. You can play this with the mouse. And that allows you to sort of turn a lot quicker. But you can't look up and down. And in order to strafe, you have to actually hold down a button and push left and right. So you can strafe if you want to. But it's just a little bit more fiddly than it is in games from Quake onwards. Quake was the big game that sort of revolutionised the way we get around in first-person view. Prior to that, we had this sort of thing here, where you use the cursor keys to move around to turn and move forward and backward. And that's how it would work. This is also back in the age where we still had sort of conventions of arcade games in place. So we had things like a score, we had lives, we had that sort of thing. And this game does sort of kind of render some of that meaningless by allowing you to save your game at any point. But the fact that those features are there means that you have the choice. You have a choice as to whether or not you're going to play this game by basically save scumming your way through, which was the standard default way of playing first-person shooters back then and still is now to a certain extent. Or if you're going to play it as an arcade game. I have actually developed a real taste for playing these games as if they're arcade games. So you play for high score, you try and survive as long as you possibly can with the limited stock of lives, and then you enter your name in the high score table. And obviously you can play however you want, but I found that playing in that way gives the game a lot more longevity and tension to it. Because I think back on my time with games like Half-Life, and remember how many times I pressed F6 to quick save in that game. And after a while it just stopped being fun. It just meant that there wasn't any tension to it, because I could basically just brute force my way through it. It was kind of the first-person shooter equivalent of credit feeding your way through an arcade game. And that's not to say that there's no reason to do that, because there is value in getting through a game like that in order to appreciate things like the level design and the graphic design and the enemies and the encounters. Excuse the motorcycles outside. We're having a bit of a trouble with local motorcycle gangs in the region at the minute. But anyway, what was I saying? Something about arcade game structures. Yes. So, yeah, I mean, you can play this how you want. If you want to play it like an arcade game, you can do. If that has become less appealing over the years, as it has done for me, personally, then you don't have to. Here's a secret. I love the synthesized ad-lib noises in this game. So, just like in Wolfenstein 3D, there's two types of sound effects in this. We've got the music in the background, courtesy of the ad-lib card, or your sound blaster, or whatever you had at the time. And then you've got digitized sound on top of that as well, if you had a sound blaster that was capable of it. The ad-lib card was only capable of synthesized sounds. So if you didn't have the right sound hardware in your PC, you just got these sort of delicious, squelchy FM synthesis sounds. And it was joyful. Right, this is another interesting thing about this game. You have enemies who behave in sort of interesting and unconventional ways as well. So like those guys there, they pretend to be dead, but you'll notice that there's no bloodstains around them. Which means that they're going to get up at a really inopportune moment and try and shoot in the back. And it's only when they bleed like that that you know you've actually defeated them. But they are worth beating on because they have a nice weapon upgrade to deal with. And I'm down to 11% health, so I think before we investigate this secret area too much further, well, let's grab this for a start. This is another thing as well. Rather than all your guns being hit scan, as in you fired them and you don't see the bullets, it just sort of immediately tracks where they land. This weapon here is actually a launcher, which was very unusual to see in games prior to, again, Doom. As Doom had the rocket launcher and the plasma gun, which actually fired out projectiles rather than being a purely hit-scan weapon. Back to full life. Right, let's continue investigating down here. I can't remember if there's anything else. Oh, there is. There we go. Lots of ammunition. That's nice. Anything else? Nothing there. Secret walls in both this and Wolfenstein 3D were things that you just have to walk along the walls like this and try and find, because they weren't necessarily marked by a visual cue like a bloodstain like that. They were in a lot of cases, but not always. So if you wanted to find every possible secret in a level of one of these games, yeah, you'd really have to work for it. The nice thing about this game is it has an auto map, and you can see at a glance there from those bar charts, you can see how much of the floor you've completed. So you can see how many of the enemies you've destroyed. Total points is sort of the sum of the number of enemies in the area and all of the points pickups that you could have acquired. And then it also tracks things like the number of informants you've kept alive without accidentally shooting them, because that's very easy to do in the heat of the moment. And all sorts of other things. Hello. Right, this guy here, it doesn't say informant down in the lower left, but he hasn't started attacking us yet. But if it doesn't say informant, he is dangerous, so you can just quietly kill him. And that guy there saw what we were up to and decided to start shooting at us in the meantime as well. So he's safe to kill as well. So if we look at our mini-map again, we've still got 100% informants alive. Alright, moving on down here. Lovely potted plant. Anything down here? I don't remember. You can actually work out where some of the things are by looking at the map. And in fact, I'm just going to go into the settings and turn off the rotating map. Oops, don't want to quit the DOS. No, we're in the middle of a game. Yeah, there we are. So if you put it straight back to the non-rotated map, you get an overview of the whole level. And from that you can deduce where some of the secret areas are, because they'll be in spaces on the map. Because of the sort of grid-based structure of this game and everything being built from cubes, this game is designed sort of very much like a classic first-person grid-based dungeon crawler. And so you can use that information to make some deductions on where things are likely to be. So these tokens here, these are used at vending machines, where you can buy snacks to get a bit of life back. So if you've already used up all of the healing items on the floor, you can buy stuff at a vending machine to sort yourself out. Right, and there's the red keycard, which is all we need to finish the level. But if we look at the information here, we've got 73% of the possible points. So we'll hunt around for a few more secrets, see if we can find any more. Anything on this wall? No. Anything on this wall? There's space for a small secret passage down there. I legitimately don't remember where the secrets are on this level. It's been a while since I got 100% clear on a level on Blakestone. And actually, because of the way I tend to play this game in this sort of arcade style that I mentioned before, I've only actually sort of beaten this once or twice, because I tend to prefer playing it for high score runs, and that way you can sort of get to learn the layout of the levels a bit better. You can take your time over them and all that sort of thing. Now, one thing worth noting about this game, which is another way it distinguished itself from Wolfenstein 3D, is the fact that once you finish a level, you can come back to it if you want to. Which is very cool. Oh, hello. That's fortunate. Yeah, so you're not locked into a linear progression of levels in this game. Now, that's one thing that this game did have over and above Doom, as Doom was a straightforward linear progression of levels through 3 episodes, or 4 episodes when Ultimate Doom came out. Whereas this one, while you're within an episode, you can travel back and forth to any of the unlocked floors however often you like, up until beating the episode. Oh, we're on the other side of here. Okay, so that's brought us in there, and it hasn't really achieved anything we didn't know before, though. Are there any secrets in this direction? Nothing on that. Oh, there's one. Always makes me jump when that happens. Oh, that just leads us back into here. So the whole thing sort of goes around in a big circle, really. Any of these walls move? Nope. Oh, oh dear. I'm terribly sorry. There we go. There was Steam complaining that the Friends network was unavailable and decided to kick me out of full screen for doing that. I don't know why. Thanks, Steam. Much appreciated. Nope, not finding anything. Let's go have a look in that room over on the west. So I feel like there was something significant in there, but I forget. Alright, so this takes us into here. Won't be anything in the middle there because there's not enough room for a sliding wall to slide out. But there might be something along this top wall. Or maybe down this side wall. There we go. See, all about clever deductions. Figuring out where you're likely to find secrets. How are we doing for points? 74%. This wall looks like another prime candidate for secrets, and there it is. Oh, loads of gold bars. Look at all the gold. Look at all the money I'm getting. Look at all the points I'm getting. And this game does a thing that I'm very fond of in sort of arcade-style games, which is your score doesn't just update immediately. It does the old sort of rolling numbers pinball thing of counting up your score as you achieve things. I've always really liked that in games for various reasons. I just think it's really cool. And it's one of many things that I really, really like about this game. Right, 85% points. Anything else on this wall? Nothing else on that wall. Oh, I don't know where else there is to go. Hold on, there's a door down south we haven't been through yet. That will never do, will it? Right. Get me out of here. Back out into the main area. And then run. Oh no, hello! That was unpleasant. So off 60% of my life. And we need to get in there as well. How do we get in there? Like this. And some yummy raw meat to restore my life. Delicious. It's not quite as gross as Wolfenstein 3D, where you could literally drink blood pools off the floor when you were down to less than 10% health. Not a lot going on in here. Any of these move? No. No. Okay. I'm sure there was something there. Maybe it's... You're not going to kill me. Good. Maybe it's somewhere along here? There it is. See, I've got a nose for sniffing out secrets. All enemies destroyed. 50,000 point bonus. Alright, so we're now up to 89% of the possible score for this level. So that means there's some more goodies hidden somewhere, but there's no more enemies. So somewhere there is another secret room. But where? Where could it be? Now, I'm obviously being extremely thorough here. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. I've personally always enjoyed seeking out the secrets in this kind of game, because it's really satisfying when you find them. But if you want to just run straight to the to this point here where you get the red key and then head straight for the elevator, you can do. That is part of the beauty of this game. Running out of places to hide secrets. Up top. Nope, nothing there. Along here. Nope. Alright, I think I gave up for now. So let's head on to the next floor, and we'll just have a go through the next floor just to see what's going on. I won't necessarily try and be as thorough on that floor, but just to give you a little idea of how this game progresses and how we go on from there. As I'm aware, we've already spent 20 minutes on one floor of this game. It's a good job there aren't time bonuses. Again, that's another difference from Wolfenstein 3D. Wolfenstein 3D kind of incentivized you to run through as quickly as possible with its par times and time bonuses and that sort of thing. So there we go. Once you get in the elevator, you can... 96%. That's so close. That's so close to everything. But no. Oh, shall we? I do kind of want to get that to 100%. I'm going to have one more look in the corner. I'll be quick, I promise. Alright, one more look up here. This is the only real place that there's a lot of space left. Can we open anything in here? Nope. What about down this side wall? I can't remember if I searched this already. Nope, nothing. Alright, that's that. No more of that. And you're right in the way. Come on. Take your time. And you forgot something. Please, take your time. No! Don't go through the door again. Thank you. Move. Right. Time to go to floor 2. I can find the elevator again. Where did it go? There. Right, floor 2. On floor 2 we get new music. But this was also from the era when a lot of sort of widely beloved composers for PC games, particularly shareware PC games, they had a lot of trouble breaking out of the conventions of the 12-bar blues. So you hear it a lot in this game. You hear it a lot in Doom as well. So many music tracks for those games are just the 12-bar blues of some description. And I never noticed it at the time. But now I'm sort of more experienced and aware of this sort of thing. Oh, it can be a little bit painful sometimes. Did you see his clever pun there? He's never mutated a stone before. Because your name's Blake Stone, like a stone. And he's never mutated a stone before because a stone is a thing that you can't mutate. Because it's made of rock. Another cool thing there, linked doors. Where are we going? Alright, let's try the door to the... this one. Nope, we've been in there. Let's go this way. I've been this way. Let's try this way. Oh, it's another one of those little computer rooms with nothing much going on in it. This door. Monsters! Kill them! Hello. More monsters. You think these scientists would be more concerned about the mutants that are just sort of wandering around? Right, so we need a yellow card for that door there. Ow. So, as you can see, the monsters also have projectile attacks. Much like you do. Uh-oh. Oh, God. I love the noticeably lower sound quality on his scream. It just sounds like someone recorded that in their bathroom. And probably did. Since a lot of these shareware games were put together on a very much on a shoestring budget, which meant that they could be enormously profitable. There's a yellow key. Alright, let's take that. Some of these canisters open when you... there we are. And there's a monster inside them. But not all of them. So you have to be a little bit careful. So there's sort of almost an element of survival horror in this game. In that you're relatively fragile. And you need to stay very alert to threats all around you. And you have limited ammunition. Lots of things to bear in mind at all times. You've even got the little heart rate meter in the middle, just like in Resident Evil. Where to now? Down to the south. That's not the south, that's the north. Move please, Dr. Scientist. No, wrong room. Alright, let's run all the way back around here. But actually, where was that yellow door? That was down here, wasn't it? Yeah, nice little touches like the lights on the door turn green when you found the appropriate key card to unlock them. There's the red key card. So we can actually go to the next level if you want. But as you can see, we've only scored 19% of the possible points on this floor. Only destroyed 31% of the enemy. So there's a lot more we can explore. And if you do want to go for a high score run, like I've been doing, then at that point you would want to go and explore the rest of the floor. For now, let's see if I can remember where the elevator is. This way. Ooh, sandwich. Have I gone the right way? Yes, I have gone the right way. And we'll just make our way up to the next floor. So one option that you've got, I guess, is you can take your time unlocking all of the floors, and then you can just go back and clean up afterwards before you go and fight the end boss. In fact, that might not be a terrible way of doing it, because as you progress through the game, you'll get access to more weapons, you'll find other key cards and gain more points, and in classic arcade game tradition, the more points you have, the more lives you'll gain as well. You'll get extra lives at various boundaries of score. Uh-oh. Yeah, gun turrets as well. That was new for this game. Over the original. The original Wolfenstein 3D. This is not a sequel to Wolfenstein 3D. It just happens to use the same engine and is developed by some of the same people. This is not id Software. But it is Apogee, so there was some sort of talent in common. But as we know, by this point, id had gone on to making Doom. And were sort of doing their own thing independently. Rather than... Oh, it's Dr. Goldfire. Let's shoot him. So that's another interesting thing. He shows up quite frequently throughout the course of the episode to just sort of harass you for a little bit. And then he always teleports away after you've shot him a bit. And so he's almost like a sort of recurring mini-boss. And he's not the end boss of the episodes. The end boss of the episodes is always like some horrendous giant robot or something like that. Or a mutant creature or... all sorts of things like that. But yeah, Dr. Goldfire is the villain of the overall story. So... it's fitting that he comes and harasses you over the course of it. Again, that sort of echoes back of things like Duke Nukem and so on. If you play the original Duke Nukem, there's sort of sequences throughout the various episodes where... what's his name? Dr. Proton in Duke Nukem, isn't it? He just sort of shows up every so often and sort of talks to Duke through the security cameras and the monitors and that sort of thing. And just sort of harasses him. Like I say, Apogee were not terribly imaginative when it came to like narrative and... oh god. It's such a good sound. I love the sound that enemy makes. But yeah, Apogee were not super imaginative with their narrative and stuff like that, but they didn't really need to be, because that wasn't the kind of game that they're making. They weren't making story-centric games for people to get sort of super invested in or anything like... oh god, hello. Oh god. I've got no health left. Let's bail out of here. Get a bit of food. There we go. Alright, trouble with this room is there are enemy generators on the walls. So the longer you stay in here, the more likely you are to get quite significantly hurt. So it's good to try and get in and out as quickly as you can. And on the higher difficulty levels, obviously you do things like you take more damage and stuff like that as well, so it becomes significantly more difficult to survive situations like that. But you see, this game is very fond of sort of hiding enemies around corners and that sort of thing, and just out of sight, and you can often spot an enemy by sound. before you see them. And so it's a good idea to be familiar with the sounds that all the different enemies make and how to deal with them. I mean, the how to deal with them is mostly shoot them repeatedly until they fall over. But various types of monsters do have different types of attack pattern that you'll need to watch out for. Like those electro monsters there, not only do you need to be careful of them respawning. There's our extra life. Yeah, not only do you have to be careful of them respawning from their generators, but you also have to watch out for their ranged attacks. Oh, there's a generator in here. Oh god, hundreds of them. Oh god, don't kill me. Oh, I'm dead. I'm dead. Well, I think that's probably a good place to leave off that playthrough for now. That is Blakestone Aliens of Gold. This is very much a favourite of mine from what I tend to think of as the golden age of shareware. Like I say, don't let the fact that it's sort of a lot more primitive than stuff like Doom put you off. This is a really enjoyable, playable game that does a lot of distinctive things that other first-person shooters at the time didn't do. And even sort of the more advanced ones like the build engine games, they didn't do a lot of things that they were doing in this game. You didn't have the same level of character interaction that you do in this. You didn't have the sort of non-linear progression through the levels and all that sort of thing. This is a really great game that I really, really, really enjoy. But anyway, I think that's enough of that for now. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please help out the channel by leaving a like or a comment and subscribing. Be sure to check out moegamer.net for new articles on Japanese and Japanese-inspired video games, new and old, every weekday. Every month, Moe Gamer features an in-depth exploration of an individual game or series as its cover game, so be sure to check the archives to see if your favourite has had a deep dive yet. If you'd like to support the site directly, please consider becoming a patron or buying me a coffee. You can find links to do both down in the video description. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.